An inheritance of greatness. Writing is perhaps the greatest of human inventions, binding together people who never knew each other, citizens of distant epochs. Books break the shackles of time. A book is proof that humans are capable of working magic. Carl Sagan. Don't worry. If you want something everlasting, just create it. You can't just make a doodle and hope it will last forever. You have to be deliberate about it. It can be almost anything, though. One beautiful example is the teachings of Socrates. Socrates never wrote a book. All the books are written about him. Leonardo the inventor, not the turtle, is still admired for his creations after all these centuries, precisely because we can understand it all. To make something last, you have to use things that can stand the test of time. Poetry, personal poetry, descriptive poetry that describes an era. That's another great example. Sculptures, which are not hard to learn, though they may be hard to chisel, get right to the point. Make it meaningful, beautiful, and time-proof. And someone will protect it for you, probably out of beauty and admiration, too. A journal may perish, unfortunately. But if you start huge, as in 11 by 14 inches, and fill it with 1,000 doodles and little photos of where you live and how you grow up, and take pictures of every page and turn it into a thickish pocketbook, I bet people will love to carry it around, just out of how tiny, delicate, and high resolution your imagination is. This is where things get kind of tricky, because if you have a thought that captures your spirit, then your spirit will become entangled in your work of art. Just like the spirits of Socrates or Leonardo are entangled in their achievements. To give an example, my spirit entangling thought at the time of this writing is, "You are meant to become a great being." These words are meant to be heard by every human being, today and henceforth and forever. This is my almost secret plan to help the world grow. I care not for any one person becoming superhuman, but for each and every one of us to realize that we are not ordinary creatures. It is neither too late nor too early for this. We can all get good at anything that moves us. We can all invent countless new things to no end. And by using books, especially narrated books, we can all transport our spirits across the vastness of time. This is not a description of an ordinary creature. This is the magic and superpowers we daydream about in fantasies and cartoons. We invented superheroes. We invented thousands of goddesses and gods. And we did it to lift each other up and become their best projections. We created networks of bookmarks and universes of reminders. We have to quickly learn to hop up to the top and continue rising higher and higher until we transcend what we thought our limits were. And don't worry, our limits are neither our faults nor boundaries. They are just leftovers from that adaptive system of evolution that hoisted us above other animals. we have 2,154 to 3,159 tigers left. Set dark imaginings aside, but let us not delay our growing up any further. There are too many good actors getting their kicks out of pretending to be who they are not, and each and every one of them holds the world back. Find a philosopher. Any philosopher will do at first, and learn from them. Learn from their quotes and paper and narrated books. Inherit just the lessons that are most profound, but learn. If it turns out that they don't quite fit you, try another one, and another one, and another one, until you find your first kindred spirit, and then find the second one. Take all their lessons, add them together, and make the union of the two your own. Tell your teacher that they are not good enough for you, that you know they are there just to get paid, and it is time you get a real education from real teachers. Because the beautiful future of this world depends on a generation of great beings. Listen to this. I went to the woods because I wished to live deliberately, to front only the essential facts of life, and see if I could not learn what it had to teach, and not when I came to die discover that I had not lived. I did not wish to live what was not life. Living is so dear. Nor did I wish to practice resignation unless it was quite necessary. I wanted to live deep and suck out all the marrow of life, to live so sturdily and Spartan-like as to put to rout all that was not life, to cut a broad swath and shave close, to drive life into a corner and reduce it to its lowest terms. Henry Thoreau. And this one is by Whitman. Cosmos, who includes diversity and is nature, who is the amplitude of the earth, and the coarseness and sexuality of the earth, and the great charity of the earth, and the equilibrium also, who has not looked forth from the windows the eyes for nothing, or whose brain held audience with messengers for nothing, who contains believers and disbelievers, who is the most majestic lover, who holds duly his or her triune proportion of realism, spiritualism, and of the aesthetic or intellectual, who, having considered the body, finds all its organs and parts good, who out of the theory of the earth and of his or her body understands by subtle analogies all other theories, the theory of a city, a poem, and of the large politics of these states, who believes not only in our globe with its sun and moon, but in other globes with their suns and moons, who constructing the house of himself or herself, not for a day, but for all time, sees races, eras, dates, generations, the past, the future, dwelling there, like space, inseparable, together.